I'm Beth Zeitlin with One Day, and I'm glad to welcome Cindee Black and Jordan Berry of Black and Berry Living to talk about this company that I love the products, use them every day, and just excited to hear about Cindee and Jordan's journey, where they are today and where they're heading. So I'd like to talk about where your journey began as co-founders of Black and Berry Living.
Cool. Cindee, do you want to kick it off since it really kind of started with your personal health?
Sure. Well, so before there was even the idea of Black and Berry, when we were kids, when I was 5 years old, I was diagnosed with 2 autoimmune diseases and spent a lot of my childhood in and out of children's hospitals. And when I got into my early 20s, I started using a lot more natural products, trying to get off medications and see how I could heal myself naturally, and visiting with homeopaths and just meeting other like-minded people. I started, eating real organic and using the cleanest products I could find. But even some of the cleanest products that were on the shelves were still filled with synthetic ingredients. So I started mixing my own at home. I started sharing them with our family. Jordan got into them. And fast forward a couple years later, Jordan is working for a bigger marketing company and thought there is a clear gap in the market for a product like we were using at home. And she felt that the cleaner, we should try to share it and see how it goes. And we started sharing it with friends and family and got a little bit of a following, started spending our weekends at farmers markets and got an even bigger following, got in a couple retailers. And, now we're about a year and a half in and just continuing to expand and grow and collaborate with like-minded people.
And I think one thing, just to kind of touch on that, whenever we were thinking about starting the business, whenever I thought of the idea to start a company, we took a different approach than I think other entrepreneurs would be like, this is a great idea, let's just do it. There's really no one else doing it. Yes, there was that element, but we also did a lot of research before we just dove right in. Market research, even seeing if there was a need. And once we started doing that, I think that elevated our excitement to start the company, because we were looking into Nielsen studies where consumers who weren't necessarily looking in the natural cleaning space, but even they were saying that they would be interested in using vinegar as an alternative if something like that was available. So for us, that was just kind of like an extra box to tick, like, okay, well, not only have we been using it, we know that it works really well. No one else is really doing it, but there's actually like a data-driven side of it too, where we were like, there actually is some skin in the game for this and people already want it. So that kind of helped make it like, this is a no-brainer. We should absolutely focus on this and try to make it happen.
Great, I'm glad you did. Tell me a little bit about the sustainability practices of Black and Berry Living.
When we first looked at the packaging options that we saw on the shelf and started to feel out what we would want to package our product in, we initially did start with plastic. We did some research and found what we felt was the best, most recyclable plastic that we could use. And then in farmers markets, we got a lot of feedback that people would like to see glass. The hard part with glass is actually, getting it, the logistics of it, getting it from one place to the other. And so, but we considered doing glass. Then we came across aluminum and had seen there's a few other products when we started that were out there that were using aluminum, but there was none in the cleaning space. So we started using aluminum, and it has been quite a journey to accommodate the logistics portion of aluminum, just because it does dent. It does have a few setbacks, but most of the feedback we have gotten is people are attracted to our product because of that sustainability part, and because that's such an important part of what we're standing for and trying to put out there.
Yeah, I love the aluminum, the hand sanitizer. It's the only one I've seen in aluminum packaging, in addition to the product being great. I love the aluminum. And it's kind of like that song Big Yellow Taxi, like, give me scars on my apples, but leave me the birds and the bees. It's like, give me a dent in my aluminum, but just don't make me carry around plastic and use it every day. So
Oh, I love that. That's cool, Beth. I like that.
It's a great way to put it. And I know that it's the choice to use aluminum and the choice to move away from plastic. And I think that we touched on this just from a perspective of our bottom line. I mean, it's not easy to be a sustainably run company. It's not taking the path of least resistance, honestly. We could be using plastic, we would have way better margins. But at the end of the day, we just feel so strongly against going down that route, because it really is going against our ethos. And we are doing well selling with the aluminum, even despite all of the challenges with it denting. And, there's always, and it's not just a dent when a customer gets a bottle. It's like, if the bottle dents or it gets damaged inside, vinegar could react with aluminum. There's all of these challenges that we've had to overcome and face to make the product sustainable and keep it in the aluminum, and not have to risk, moving back to plastic or trying to use glass. So I think that for us, I mean, we've really had to power through to be able to remain sustainable and not have to take a step back in our personal feelings about, gosh, it would be great if our margins were better. But we know that our customer base is telling us that they want aluminum, and that's what we really need to stick with and stick behind.
great. And can you tell me a little bit about aluminum as a recyclable product?
There's all kinds of benefits. I mean, I think one of my favorite things about aluminum, and since we've started bottling in aluminum, I try to use everything aluminum now. I mean, like, my toothpaste brand is specifically an aluminum bottle, because they have like a similar ethos to us. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of David's, but I like aluminum because it's infinitely recyclable. Plastic is not, other materials are not. So even our bottle, you can reuse it, and then when you're done reusing it, you can recycle it, and it can be continuously recycled and reused. I can't remember the stat off the top of my head. Maybe you can remember, Cindee, the percentage of aluminum that's still being used today.
Yeah, I was just trying to think about that when you were talking. I want to say it's something like 75%, and that's a huge number. Also, the energy, the carbon footprint that is made to recycle aluminum and turn it into a new product is way less than what it is for plastic, and it's way less than it is to initially make the aluminum. It's one of the most sustainable ways to recycle. So, I mean, aluminum is just ideal for reincarnating it and reusing it. I mean, it's for sustainability. I don't think anything can hold up to it, even glass.
So regarding your personal journey with sustainability, why do each of you feel like it's important to you?
That's a great question. I mean, I guess me personally, when I think of sustainability and how, I like to lead like my own life with recycling and reusing things and not using single-use plastics, it's almost hard for me to understand how anyone else really can't get behind it. And if you look at the world that we're living in, and just our current climate, I think everyone should start to try, I mean, to just take out one thing and move to a more sustainable choice. I mean, I can be the first person to say that I haven't always been super into sustainable living, but as I've gotten older, I've started to just make simple and easy swaps. And any friend of mine that I have, and I go to their apartment and I see that they're using some products, or they're not recycling or they're not doing composting, I'm always like, just every month, like, pick one thing to switch to a more sustainable option. It's like making one small change, and then a few small changes over a month can change your whole lifestyle. And that's kind of what I did, and I feel like, me personally, it's definitely improved just my own way of living. And so I guess, I don't know how you couldn't want to take that on and just feel better and choose to have a more sustainable lifestyle for that. And it's really encouraging to see a lot of other brands and companies getting on board and being more supportive and supporting more sustainable brands, because I think that they're starting to see that just as consumer behavior is changing, that's really the way that we're moving towards.
Right. Cindee, would you like to add anything about your feelings about the importance of sustainability?
Oh, definitely. I mean, I think Black and Berry, we have two big platforms, and one of them being sustainability, but then also the toxic-free living. I think a lot, we focus a lot with our sustainability on the aluminum, but it's also the ingredients too. So using organic ingredients that aren't causing lots of pesticides to be put in the planet, and trying to use packaging beyond the aluminum, our cardboard boxes, trying to really take it, from every step to be sustainable. And I mean, this is just should be so important in everyone's life. I mean, there's just more and more scientific data every day talking about our effects on the planet. We're all connected, and it's about, I really feel, making healthy choices. And by these simple choices, just like what Jordan was saying, you can really make a difference. And I mean, I have two kids. I think about my household, and at points, sometimes when trash builds up, I mean, it is unbelievable what one household can produce. And by making these simple choices, I really believe that we can make a difference. And that goes into your products that you're selecting at the store, the foods you're eating, the businesses you're supporting. I think it takes one person can make a difference, and just making conscious, deliberate choices every day.
That's great. And you were talking about before the impact of aluminum on your bottom line, that it is more expensive. Glass is heavier to ship. You were speaking about that. And I know those aluminum bottles are way more expensive than plastic bottles. But overall, do you feel like your choices to go organic, to adopt other sustainable practices, do you feel like that has hurt or helped your bottom line?
I would ultimately say it's helped our bottom line, because I believe that people that are interested in toxic-free products it kind of goes hand in hand with sustainability. And those same kind of people are interested in the packaging and the choices that they're making on every level. So I would say it definitely helps and attracts our customer base.
Yeah, I think it really, what I find is that people are willing to spend a little more on the front end to invest in your health and the health of the planet on the front end, knowing that whatever choices that we're making are way less expensive than the alternative on the other side, and not to mention the quality of life that it adds. So all of those things, all of those investments at the front end are worth it. And I never regret those choices when I make them. what about the future of your sustainability journey? Where are you headed? Um, or where is the company headed?
I think one of our biggest focuses for 2021 is partnering with more refilleries. We've had a lot of success with them here in Southern California. We're trying to expand to other parts of California and even beyond California. So you can take those aluminum bottles and refill them with larger containers at a refillery very easily and accessibly and at a better price. So it really, our product may have an initial higher price point, but if you could do a refillery, you're going to be able to get top quality ingredients with amazing packaging that really speaks to sustainability and that type of lifestyle. Beyond that, we also have a concentrate. So you can, if you're not near a refillery, you can buy a 40-ounce concentrate and you can refill your cleaning bottles with half concentrate and half water. We want to expand those to our other products like our hand sanitizer, which is of course in huge demand at this moment.
Right. And Jordan, would you like to talk about any ideas that you have that you've learned on your sustainability journey? You were saying that you've made changes that might be the listeners might be interested in hearing about.
Gosh, I think the biggest thing is just learning that there's so many alternatives to things that I use all the time. I think before I didn't really think about even doing research or looking for alternatives and ways that I can continue to reuse products outside of like the usual things that I think everyone's pretty aware of, like straws and, you know, reusable shopping bags. But it really goes way beyond that. And so I think for me, spending a lot of time researching, considering alternatives that I have, reusing things in my home and repurposing things, that would be something that I think has changed the most. That I just am being a lot more thoughtful about products that I buy and things that I'm reusing and just trying to be a more conscious, sustainable consumer.
Great. Cindee, anything you'd like to add?
Yeah, no, I mean, I think there's so many amazing products that are coming out. I think everyone is jumping on this bandwagon, from the big, huge companies to, I mean, definitely the smaller companies down here in Southern California. And it's just exciting to see what everyone's doing. And really, I mean, I feel the future is very bright for sustainable packaging and yeah, just conscious choices every day.
Right. I'm seeing that too, changing everywhere. And I also see the interest in making connections with other people that are interested in living sustainably. And I do also share that what you said, Jordan, about every day there's more choices. The more conscious you can be about it, really, you can pretty much find everything you want. And sometimes waiting, and that searching for things, it just gives you greater joy when you're able to find that thing and meet a new person, meet a new provider, a new maker. It's a really joyful process that I've enjoyed, just like meeting you guys. So it's been a real treat. And the final question I'd like to ask you today is if you've discovered anything on One Day's website, any companies or other products, whether they're on One Day's website or other. You mentioned David's toothpaste, Jordan. I think that's a great company. Any new products that you've seen either on One Day or elsewhere in your community that you'd love to share with the listeners?
Well, I have to say, I love that you guys have Beauty Counter on your site. I'm such a huge fan of Greg Renfrew. I mean, she's amazing. And I think just from like an entrepreneur's perspective, I've always kind of followed her even way back when, because I think she's more well known for Beauty Counter and selling her wedding site to Martha Stewart, but she started a small cleaning company back in the Hamptons, like when she was starting out in college. So I think I've always kind of felt like really like, okay, like we both kind of started in the cleaning space and look at where she's at now. And I think her journey into getting into sustainable living was really interesting. So I'm a huge fan. I'm wearing their makeup now, actually. So it's like a super cool that we're going to be sharing space on your website with a brand like that. I mean, all the brands are amazing, but I love those guys.
Great. Cindee, any products you love?
Well, definitely a huge chocolate fan. Before even connecting with you, Beth, I was a big fan of, do you call it Hue? Is it HU? But I've picked up their chocolate bars, over the past like year or so, and have really enjoyed them. The packaging, super cool. I'm grateful to meet you and what you're doing. Collaborating with like-minded companies and like-minded people has been probably the biggest joy of doing Black & Berry. So thank you so much.
Well, thank you guys. It's been great chatting, and just looking forward to the growth, especially the refill of the hand sanitizer. It's my favorite thing to share. Not so big on the cleaning products. I use I use them all the time. I just don't like cleaning, but hand sanitizer, that's my game. Being able to be out and about. And so thank you guys so much. Great to talk with you, and wishing you all the best.